My ex does it better than you. Those were the exact words that fell from my husband's lips, words I never imagined hearing from the man who once claimed he would die before hurting me. Hey friends, before I take you on this emotional roller coaster, I just want to say thank you for always supporting my channel. If you have ever experienced betrayal, heartbreak, or had to fight your way back from emotional ruin, this one is for you. Please like, comment, and subscribe if this story resonates with you. Now, let me take you back to how everything started to fall apart. It began with a cold dinner. Not just the food, it was him. He came home late again that Tuesday. His tie was loose, his shirt half untucked, smelling faintly of cologne I did not recognize. I had spent an hour making his favorite chicken Alfredo, lighting candles like it was date night, and even putting on a silk robe just to make him smile. He barely looked at me. I sat across from him at the dinner table, my eyes tracing the familiar lines of his face, the jaw I used to kiss in the mornings, the lips that used to call me beautiful. But that night, he chewed without speaking, eyes glued to his phone. Is it work again? I asked gently, trying to mask the anxiety creeping up my throat. No, he said flatly. Just a group chat. He did not offer more, and I did not push. But I should have. Because 3 days later, my world shattered. It was a Friday afternoon. I had decided to surprise him. He forgot his laptop at home. I figured bringing it to his office would be a sweet gesture, wife of the year stuff. When I walked into his workplace, the receptionist hesitated. Is he expecting you? She asked awkwardly. No, but I am his wife. I brought his laptop. She stood, obviously uncomfortable. He is, in the back room. But he is in a meeting. She did not stop me when I walked past her desk. Maybe she should have. Maybe I should have turned back. Maybe my heart knew what my mind was refusing to admit. I reached the back hallway and heard laughter. Female laughter. Intimate. Flirty. I froze. Then I heard his voice, his laugh. And then hers again. I did not storm in like the women you see in movies. I stayed rooted to the ground, hands shaking, heart thudding in my chest like a drum gone mad. The door was slightly ajar. And I saw her. Her name was Amelia. Long legs. Red heels. Curled hair that screamed danger. She was perched on his lap. Not next to him. On him. My husband, Nathan, had his hands around her waist, smiling like I had not seen him smile in months. I dropped the laptop. The noise startled them. They both turned. The look in Nathan's eyes, panic, guilt, and then, irritation. He stood, pushing her off his lap like she was an inconvenience. Jessica, what are you doing here? I remember shaking, trembling so hard my teeth rattled. I brought your laptop. He stared at it on the floor. You should have called. That was all he said. Not, I'm sorry. Not, this is not what it looks like. Just. You should have called. He came home that night. I was on the couch, mascara smudged, eyes swollen from crying. He did not sit beside me. He poured himself a drink and sat across the room. I am sorry you saw that, he muttered. I looked at him like he was a stranger. Are you seeing her? Silence. Nathan, are you sleeping with her? He did not flinch. Yes. I felt my soul leave my body. How long? I whispered. About 4 months. That was when I slapped him. Not because of the timeline. But because he looked bored while admitting it. Like he was confessing to forgetting to take out the trash, not tearing our marriage apart. What came next broke me more than the affair itself. I asked him, out of desperation, pain, pure brokenness, why? Why her, Nathan? He took another sip of whiskey. Then he shrugged. She makes me feel wanted, he said. She does not nag. She listens. Anne. He paused. And then he said it. She is better in bed than you. Honestly, her ex used to train her. He taught her things you never even tried. I gasped. He did not stop there. Her ex was a freak. Taught her all kinds of things. And she brings that energy into the bedroom. With you, everything feels routine. Predictable. Like we are just checking boxes. I do not remember the rest of the night clearly. I think I blacked out emotionally. I remember crying in the bathroom. Sobbing into a towel. Slamming the shower handle so hard it snapped. Throwing my wedding ring into the toilet, then retrieving it in a moment of heartbreak. My husband did not come after me. He slept in the guest room. 3 days later, he had the audacity to ask if we could be adults about this and try open marriage. He said he still loved me, but needed more excitement. I packed a suitcase. He laughed. You will be back, he said smugly. No one else will love you like I do. But that was the moment he lost me for good. Not because he cheated. Not because of Amelia. Not even because of the words comparing me to his ex. But because he believed I would stay. That he could rip my heart out and I would come crawling back like a dog to its owner. He did not know me at all. That weekend, I moved in with my sister. I began therapy. I started lifting weights, cutting sugar, and journaling every night like my sanity depended on it. Because it did. My story was just beginning. He thought he ended me. But I was only about to rise. From the ashes of betrayal, I was going to become a fire he could never put out. It was not the betrayal that nearly destroyed me. It was what came after. The quiet. The way my world collapsed in whispers. No dramatic explosions. Just silence where love used to live. Just absence in a bed meant for two. I stayed at my sister Monica's place for a week. That first night, I cried so hard I forgot how to breathe. She had to sit beside me, hold my hand, and remind me, inhale. Exhale. You are still here. Because I did not feel like I was. I felt like I died that day, when he compared me to her ex. When he said I was predictable. Routine. That I was the checklist. The safe choice. The one he married because it was the next step, not because he could not live without me. I was the good girl. She was the exciting woman. He left a home for a thrill. But here is the thing about thrills, they fade. And I was only getting started. 3 weeks after leaving Nathan, I signed up for therapy. My therapist was a no-nonsense woman named Dr. Elkins. Gray curls, red lipstick, and the kind of piercing eyes that saw through every lie you tried to tell yourself. I sat in her chair and whispered, he said her ex taught her how to please him, and that I could never measure up. She leaned forward, eyes sharp. And what do you believe? I blinked. I do not know. I used to believe I was enough. But now. Dr. Elkins did not flinch. Let me tell you something, Jessica. Men who cheat often blame the woman they betrayed for their own choices. He wants to rewrite the story and make you the villain. Because facing himself would destroy him. That hit me hard. He is not better, she continued. He is just easier to manipulate. And that scares him. I started journaling every night. Not about Nathan. About me. What I wanted. What I missed. What I refused to tolerate again. I wrote letters to my future self. Letters that sounded like war cries. You are not his afterthought. You are not a practice round. You are a damn wildfire. And the more I wrote, the more I realized. I was never the problem. I was just too much woman for a man who never grew up. A month later, Nathan called. I let it ring. Then he texted. Can we talk? Just coffee. No pressure. I stared at that message for 20 minutes. My hands trembled. Part rage. Part curiosity. I said yes. We met at a quiet cafe on 3rd and Main, our old Saturday brunch spot. The irony almost made me laugh. He was already seated when I arrived. He stood quickly like he used to, as if pretending to still be the gentleman he abandoned. "Jessica," he said softly, "you look different." "I feel different," I replied coldly. He fumbled with his coffee cup. "Listen, about that night. I should not have said what I said." "Which part?" I asked. "That I was boring? Or that I could not compete with your sex life and her ex?" He winced. I was angry. Cornered. I said things I did not mean. "No, Nathan," I said, voice calm but sharp, "you said exactly what you meant. That is what makes it worse." He exhaled. "Amelia and I, we are not together anymore." "Let me guess," I said. "She got tired of being your escape." He said nothing. "I gave you everything," I whispered, my voice cracking. "And you discarded me like I was furniture." Nathan's eyes filled with guilt, or maybe shame. Or maybe just the loss of convenience. "I made a mistake," he said. "You are the woman I should have fought for." "I see that now." I leaned in. "You broke me into pieces and expected me to come back like nothing happened. You thought I would wait while you explored your thrills. But while you were out there playing boyish games, I became a woman you are not ready for." He swallowed hard. "Do you think we could try again?" That was when I laughed. Not bitter. Not angry. Just free. "No, Nathan. I do not settle for leftovers. Not even if I cooked the whole damn meal." From that day, I became unrecognizable. I dyed my hair auburn, got a new job in marketing, started boxing every Tuesday night, and took myself on weekly solo dates. And yes, one day, I met someone. Not at a bar. Not online. At a bookstore. He saw me browsing poetry. We talked about Rumi and milk foam and hiking trails in Oregon. His name was Dean. He never once compared me to another woman. He never made me feel small. He made me laugh until my ribs ached. Held my hand like it was sacred. Made love to me like it was a conversation, not a competition. One night, 6 months after my world ended, Nathan called again. I did not answer. Instead, I smiled at the man beside me in bed and whispered, "I finally feel whole again." Because I did. Not because I found someone new. But because I found myself. The thing about healing is, it makes you unrecognizable to the people who once took you for granted. 6 months after our last conversation, the one where I told Nathan I would never go back, he showed up on my doorstep uninvited. It was a rainy Thursday. I had just come back from yoga and was wearing a long oversized sweater and socks. Hair in a bun. No makeup. Dean was in the kitchen making stir-fry, humming to some jazz track. Peace lived in every corner of our home. Until the doorbell rang. I opened it, and there he was. Nathan. Soaked from the rain. Eyes red. Face hollow. "Jessica," he breathed. "Please, can I come in?" I stepped out onto the porch, blocking the entrance with my body. "No. Whatever you came to say it here." He blinked. "You look peaceful." "I am," I replied. "Do not ruin that." He stuffed his hands in his pockets. I did not know where else to go. "That is not my problem anymore," I said firmly. He swallowed. "I lost my job." Not a flicker of emotion crossed my face. "I know you heard about Amelia," he continued, "but it gets worse." He looked down, voice cracking. "She is pregnant." My stomach dropped, but not for the reason he expected. He kept going. "She says it is mine. I do not even know anymore. But she told her ex." He found out. There was a fight. He trashed my apartment, slashed my tires, left a note that said, "You broke her. I will break you." He looked up at me, eyes desperate. "Jessica. I am scared." I stared at him. The same man who once mocked me for not being wild enough was now standing in front of me, broken, terrified, abandoned. I had no pity. Only clarity. "You did not want a wife, Nathan," I said. "You wanted chaos that made you feel alive. Congratulations. You got it." He stepped forward. "I just want to come home." I stepped back. "This is not your home anymore. You are still my wife." "No," I cut him off, voice calm but slicing like glass. "I was your wife. But you let that version of me die. The woman standing in front of you now? She does not belong to you." His face twisted. "So what, you replaced me? With that guy I saw through the window?" "You do not get to ask about my peace," I said sharply. "You forfeited that right the moment you opened your legs to someone else and told me her ex trained her better." The rain fell harder. But inside me, it was sunlight. He looked away, ashamed. And then he whispered the most pathetic thing I ever heard from him. "You are glowing." That should have been because of me. I almost laughed. Instead, I whispered, "No, Nathan. This glow came from the fire you set. You burned me down, and I built something beautiful from the ashes." He stood there, broken and wet, until I closed the door. That was the last time I ever saw him. Dean and I moved in together 2 months later. But I did not rush to remarry. I did not need another ring to prove I was worthy of love. Because now, love felt like being heard. Being respected. Being desired without having to perform. One night, curled beside Dean, he asked, if he had never cheated, "Do you think you would have left?" I paused. "No," I admitted. "I would have stayed out of loyalty. Out of fear. Out of love that was not returned. But now? I thank him." Dean raised an eyebrow. "Because if he had not betrayed me," I said softly, "I would never have discovered the version of me that was buried under his expectations." To every woman who has ever been told she is not enough. To every wife compared to an ex, a fantasy, or a lie. To every soul crushed by betrayal. Let me tell you this. You are not lacking. You are just with someone who cannot see your worth. Let them go. And then watch yourself rise. Because the best revenge is not rage. It is becoming so untouchable, they cannot even reach the woman you became without them.